I'd like to talk a bit, if I will, about Zika and depopulation by press conference. You know, we know that this is the agenda of the elites. People in the Bilderberg Club have talked a lot about it. The most wealthy people in the world have as their raison d'etre, admittedly, as their raison d'etre, lowering the population of the world. So now in Brazil, you have this phenomenon where there's this new disease. And for the first time in history, the Pope has said it's okay to use condoms if you are worried that you might be transmitting this disease, which I would argue is non-existent. But if you look at the way that the U.S. government has been genetically modifying mosquitoes, it's kind of like a Frankenstein Jurassic Park type of project where it could get quickly out of hand, just like at Plum Island, where there's now declassified documents that are public where they admit that they were doing experiments with ticks. They brought over these Nazi doctors as part of Operation Paperclip, and they were doing parallel psychological operations. That's why Lyme, and they were doing it with ticks, and some ticks escaped. They were doing biological warfare. That's why Lyme disease is called Lyme, because across the bay from the Plum Island military lab is Lyme, Connecticut, where they got the first cases of Lyme. So you have this situation where in Brazil, very possibly people are getting these health problems because of vaccines. I'm talking about the babies now. It's blamed on Zika, and it's depopulation by press conference, because all the World Health Organization and these people have to do is say, stop having children, and you'll avoid having this disease, and they're putting fear into the people. There's a sign at a hospital that I go by here in Santo Domingo, Ecuador, where it says, pregnant women, please test yourself for HIV so your baby can be safe. Well, what would happen if the mother was diagnosed with HIV? She would go on these antiviral drugs, which were first created as chemotherapy drugs for cancer patients. And then that would start to do a lot of damage. The side effects from that would be blamed on AIDS. So if you really look at the agenda of the elites and how they're carrying it out, all they have to do now is give a press conference and say, don't have children because their children are at risk of getting this disease. If the mother gets supposedly picked by a mosquito, then the children get the disease, but the mother stays fine. But it scares her, so she doesn't want to have children. So it's depopulation by press conference, and just like always, the Vatican seems to go along with it. So I mean, that's nothing new, but it just shows how effective the depopulation by press conference is.